Hey everybody, it is Andrew back here today, and today we're going to go into just some different ideas on getting more apples. And yes, this is supposed to be an apple. I've got to be the world's worst drawer. Could be a heart, could be a tomato, who knows. I think it's an apple anyways, that's the best I can do. So today we're going to go into some different ways to get more apples. If you are new around here, please bang on that subscribe button and do like my videos if you do find them useful. I do these videos, I look around to different sources, bring that information back and share with you and come up with my own stuff, of course, as well. So let's get right into it today. So I'm going to give you 5 different things you can do to get more apples, more 5 apples that have worked for me, and I've seen them work for others as well. And this is really top of mind. I don't know if you're noticing out there, but it is next to impossible to get the 24-hour bookings right now. If I have an open slot that comes open up for tomorrow, she ain't getting filled, or at least right now. And that is largely because, as I've mentioned in my other videos, we have so many teachers teaching now. We have an influx of teachers getting hired. We also have all those brick and mortar teachers teaching more as well because they are not going to school. So it is next to impossible to get those short-term bookings. So it is vitally important to get that 5 apple percentage up, because that is how they're going to find you during the frenzy or any other time during the week for that matter. So let's go right into it, because I think these 5 things will get you more 5 apples. Number uno, go outside of the slides. So what I mean by that is that don't just rely on the slide information. Yes, teach the content that is there, but especially for those students that are advanced, really up your game and try and stretch them as much as you can. So an example of this, I had a kid that I was teaching this and that. That was one of the primary things I was teaching, this and that. And if you go to Shannon's workshop, which I highly suggest you go to all hers and go to them many times, she gave a really good idea of how to use this and that and get the kid to also get them as well. So tell them, go get a couple pencils, go get something. And really, she does a really good job of saying, well, this, and then she whistles for that to show that. And she does the same thing with these, and anytime something far away, those. I'm not a good whistler, but anyways, she does that well, and get them to do it. That is a great thing that the parents will see, and it helps kids learn. If you let them do it, that is one thing I've taken a lot of things, but that is one thing that I've found to be so important, is that you get the kids to do it themselves as well. Don't just show them, get them to do it also. So where I was going by this on leaving the slides is this and that. Stretch it. Say, don't just stop at this and that. Do these and those. It wasn't in the lesson, but I covered it anyways because this kid was smart. And then I also put that in the feedback that we covered that. So the parents, I know, could hear, because they were close by, they could hear me going over the different things, and then I put it specifically in the feedback that I said, your kid is super, I didn't say exactly this way, but your kid is super smart, so I stretched them and did these and those. It wasn't in the lesson, but I did it anyways. I took a couple sentences and put it in there, and sure enough, I did get a 5 apple feedback. Now, that might not have been the only reason, but it definitely did not hurt. So try and go outside the slides. And again, you want to make it relevant. You don't want to just go outside the slides and do something totally different. But there's tons of ways that you can find something that's similar to what you're teaching and go out to the slides, and make sure you put it in the feedback. Don't do all that work and not leave it in the feedback. Put it in the feedback so the parents see that too. Okay, number 2. What I really like doing, and this is something I've just started doing, for those kids that are just off the wall. I mean, they're going all over the place. They're just a ball of energy, which is great. What I really like doing to get these kids to settle down a bit is I get them to run. So I do this, and they just love it. And I get them to do it back, and it helps to get their energy out. And I think the parents like seeing that too. I also put this in the feedback. I say, I spend some time and I know he's an active kid and I love to run with your child. put that in the feedback and do something active. Get them to run a bit. I mean, make it educational, but get them just, I love doing this, and that's something that gets their energy out, and it just helps them focus, and the parents appreciate that too because they know their kid's active, so that's a good way to get some of their energy out. So especially those younger boys, which they have a ton of energy. Okay, number 3, and this is something that I've gotten back as comments. Now, they've been coming back with 5 apples, but at the same time, they're saying over and over again, get my kid to slow down. Get my kid to slow down. So I know we need to talk slowly as teachers. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to here that they want their kid to slow down. A lot of those kids out there right now are just, they go too fast. And I know us as teachers, we hate saying something like this to slow them down, because that can sometimes rub them the wrong way. But if you position it in the right light, then it's okay. And again, it's so important to call them out on it, on telling them to slow down, because over and over again, I'm hearing back from the parents, again, not in a negative way, but just that they really want their kid to slow down and pronounce things, have good pronunciation, to slow down so they're reading, so that they can understand what they're reading, and really enforce to slow down. So the way I like to position it is after they've read something, I'll say, wow, great job, you did such a great job. Now, a way to help you read even better, try and take the next one a little bit slower, and I think that will help with your pronunciation and your comprehension. So I really like doing that. The parents love hearing that. No one wants their kid to rush. At least, I mean, obviously we want them to be fluent. We don't want them to be super slow. But most parents want things nice and slow. They want accuracy over speed. Most of them. Anyway, so try that and document that in your feedback as well, that you're trying to get them to slow down. So, number 4. When we say thank you, so I have stressed that when you get a 5 apple feedback, you say thank you for it. So you reply back to the parent as soon as you can. So when you do that, really emphasize there that you want them to keep doing it. So subtlety, I love using subtlety. Use subtlety to just slightly hint, please keep doing this. So an example would be, you get a 5 apple feedback and say, I really appreciate each time you're able to do this. It means a lot to me. So you're implying to keep doing it. And that just becomes so important, because a lot of parents will just think, oh, I've left it to them the first few times. They're now a regular teacher. I don't need to do it anymore. Well, tell them that it's important for them to keep doing it each time in a very subtle way of doing it, and say why it's important. So you could say, my bookings are hugely dependent on getting 5 apples. So tell them why in a subtle way that it's important to keep leaving 5 apple feedback, because once you have that parent in there, you need to keep getting them back in there. That is so crucial to getting your 5 apple, is that you get that parent into the routine of keep doing it and doing it and doing it for every class, because that will be such a huge help to your 5 apple feedback. Okay, and the last one, number 5, and my best one in my opinion, is move your request to ask for feedback. So I feel like the Apple iPhone around here, like this feedback, I've done so many different iterations to my feedback. I think I'm on iteration about 10 now of my feedback. Now I'm on to, I had my feedback sort of in the middle, my request to ask for feedback, sort of in my middle of my feedback. Now I've bumped it right up to the top. So I literally go in and say, hi, Mom and Dad, thanks for allowing me to teach your son or daughter today. And boom, I put in the feedback request right there. So I did this the other day, and within 2 days of me doing this, of moving up to the top, the parent got the hint, and I got 5 apple feedbacks from a parent, because they see it. If they read the feedback, they say, oh, the feedback's now up top. He must be wanting me to leave feedback. So it's a good, subtle way to remind them. And again, you don't want to alienate them, but at the same time, that is a very subtle way to say, please leave me feedback. If you move that up to the top, And it worked for me, at least so far anyways. I got five apples from a parent who doesn't typically leave me a whole lot of feedback, but she did within a couple days of me doing that. So try that, move it to a different place. I've mentioned before about changing the wording around a little bit so that they don't just glaze right over your feedback request. Move it up the ladder, up the chain, to give a nice subtle hint to get more 5-apple feedback. Hopefully those helped you today. Please like my videos if you do like them. Subscribe to my whatever you want to call this thing, channel. I don't edit my videos, as I've said before, so you sort of get what you get. I am lazy, but one take today. Only did one take. Didn't have to rehash everything through again. So please come back and see me again here as I do a video in the next few days. Happy weekend. Bye, everyone.